Father's Day, Dad. Thank you for taking such good care of me, and I love you a lot. Hi, I love you.
For some reason, it's been really hard for me to talk about my depression and anxiety. I don't know what I would say if someone were to ask me, what does your depression feel like? So let me try. I don't know how it started or exactly when, but it got really bad in the February of 2016. I was barely eating. I was sleeping 12 to 16 hours a day. I'd wake up and it felt like the pressures of the day were stacked so high around me. Like I had built a claustrophobic coffin of my anxieties, an unstable skyscraper of stress. And then it would feel like the walls were toppling down on top of me. And so to escape it all, I'd just go back to sleep. Wake up an hour later, try it again, repeat cycle. Wake up an hour later, try it again. I just couldn't bring myself to do anything. I'd go days without ever leaving the four walls of my apartment. The outside world was just too much. I felt alone. I thought that no one truly loved me, and those who did just didn't know me. That what people saw was not who I was. I doubted everything that I did, every action, every decision, every thought. Speaking became difficult. I would spend the entire conversation thinking about what I should say and what that would make me seem like. I was living completely in my head, and I was starting to feel crazy. But I would just go over the question of whether I was crazy over and over in my own head, and then even that would make me feel like I was crazy. I wasn't thinking like myself. I wasn't feeling like myself. I wasn't myself. And that isn't who I am. But for a really long time, in the thick of it, I truly thought that was who I was. I didn't know if somehow I had changed, or if this was who I always was, and I just didn't notice. But either way, I was really, really scared that this was forever. And the worst thing is, you don't know what to do. You want someone to just tell you how to be normal again, but how do you retrace your steps when you don't know how you got there in the first place? Slowly though, I started to come out of the fog. And it wasn't an easy process. It was definitely a 2 steps forward, 1 step back process, but I really did start to feel better. And months later, I truly felt happy. And it was like my first breath of fresh air. And thinking back, I couldn't imagine thinking or feeling or doing the things that I did. And then food started to taste weird. Eating even a few bites would elicit migraines and nausea and dry heaving. I became terrified of food. In a single month, I lost over 10 pounds. I was sleeping 16 to 20 hours a day, hiding from the world under dark drapes and thick sheets. There would be times that I would get ready for the day, put on my backpack, walk to the door, and then I'd linger. And I'd linger for a little longer. And I decided I just didn't feel like going to class that day. I skipped 4 full weeks of class once. But the crazy thing is, it still took me months to recognize that I was dealing with depression and anxiety again, because I was too scared to admit to myself that I was. I thought I had come out on the other side a survivor, yet here I was again, and all I could ask was why. Because at that point, it had been almost a year since it all began, and I had spent so much time sleeping or hiding in my room or trapped in my own head that I had forgotten to live. But I was sick of being scared. I was sick of feeling numb. I wanted to really feel things, to be an active participant in the world, to engage. And there were things that helped. I left an extremely stressful leadership position I focused on the things that I really cared about. I expressed myself through artistic outlets. I surrounded myself with people I loved and who loved me, and I opened up to them. But the truth of the matter is, I still do feel anxious and I do feel depressed. There will be times when my anxiety will hit me like a pile of bricks, and there will be days where I feel like I just can't do it. But whether you think it or not, believe it or not, you have the strength to get through anything. And it is in these moments when we think we can't breathe and we can't go on and we can't do this that make us grow as human beings, that make us realize how strong we are and how beautiful each and every one of us really are. And I realized something truly important. I have anxiety and depression, and it is unfair, but it also isn't my fault. As unfortunate as it is to have to cope with these problems, there are tactics to cope with them. Feeling these things doesn't mean I can't live my life. It's like a cut on the bottom of your foot. It hurts, it's constantly there, but that doesn't mean you should stop moving forward.